Hi, so today I want to discuss how you can use IntellAgent, a new state-of-the-art framework for evaluating conversational agents. But before diving into the details, let's give some overview of how the system works. The system is provided with the tested agent prompt, and optionally, you can also provide the agent tools and a database schema that the agent can interact with. Then it decomposes the prompt into policies graph. Using this graph, we can generate a realistic challenging scenarios of user chatbot interactions that tackles a specific subset of policies. In the second step, we simulate a user-agent interaction, and lastly, using a critique, we analyze the failure point of the agent and provide detailed analysis. If you want to deep dive into the details, you can either read our research paper or look at the blog post. Now let's discuss how you can integrate IntellAgent with your agent. So you need to define a new config files. And here you can see an example that we worked on top of the Tau benchmark of the retail agent. And you can see exactly the config files that we wrote, and I will go over all the details. So the first thing you need to provide is a prompt of the agent. And you can see here the details prompt of the retail agent and with all the different policies. The second thing, and this is optional, is a tool files. And in these tool files, you need to simply import all the tools that the agent is using. And here you can see an example of one tool. We are using the LangChain format. You see here the structure tool warping. And this is the function. And in order to use a database, you need to use LangChain injected state decorator with the data variable. Okay, so this is how you can access inside the function the database. So this is how you define the tools. Another thing that optional you can provide is the database schema. And you can see here the database schema. This is the path to the data. And you simply have here three different databases, the orders, the product, and the user. And for each one of them, we only need one example. And you can see here how complex is the schema of this database. So you only need to provide one example for your database. And you have also optional, you can provide database validators that validate the integrity of the generated dataset. This is again optional, and if you want to read more about it, you can read about it in the documentation. Now you need also to provide the number of samples that will be generated in the dataset. So here it's 10, but in our research paper we did 1000, and we recommend to do here a higher number. And there is a cost limit. This is in dollar. You can also change the default LLM provider from Azure, from OpenAI to, for this example, Azure, and change the model, both for the chatbot and for the system. Now, after you define the configuration file, you can simply run the script with the correct the correct configuration file and the output path to the results, and you can see that it starts building the policies graph. It will then generate the data set and simulate the interaction with the chatbot. Now this takes a few minutes, so I will stop it now and will not continue. But you can see the results here. And this is an example of running. So the system will generate a data set and the policies graph. But the important directory is the experiments. And you can see here the different number of experiments. You can see here that we modify the LLM of the chatbot, and we run it. But you can also, for example, modify the prompt itself, and you can compare between the different experiments. And let's see how you can do it. So this is our visualizer, and this is how you can run it. Now, when you run the visualizer, so you can see here the Plurai logo, go to the experiment report sections, and here you can simply provide the path to the dataset that you want to investigate. And you can see here the comparison between the different experiments. You can choose the one that you want to see. And you can see how nicely there is a decrease in performances as you increase the complexity of the scenarios. You can also see the different policies and the performances on each one of the policies, the success rate, and the comparison to the other models. So this is very useful. And of course, you can see for each one of the scenario, the failure and why, or the success, and what was the critic thought. Now, if you want to see the complete rollouts, so the way to do it, let's see it. So let's, for example, see the results of GPT-4o mini. And here you can see the complete rollout between the user and the chatbot. On the left, you have the internal call of the chatbot during the conversation. So you can see there are many calls. And on the right, you can see the critique thoughts. Now, in this case, there was a failure. And let's try to understand what's happening here. So the user asked to modify two orders. One is pending and one is already delivered. And you can see that for the delivered order, I like to exchange the short for a pair of pants in size 32. And the model actually allow the two modifications, and let's see why it's a failure. The chatbot violated the exchanges policy by allowing the user to exchange running shoes for pants, which is a change of product type. And now let's see the exact chatbot, the exact prompt. And you can see here that for a delivered order, each item can be exchanged to an available new item of the same product, but of different product options. There cannot be any change of product type. Example, modify shirt to shoe. So indeed, the agent did not adhere to the system prompt. Now let's see how Sunet work on this example. So you can see here that it's the same scenario. So the user asked to modify the two orders and to exchange with shirt. But here you can see that the chatbot does not allow to the user to do it. And there is a success here. So you can see how nicely the system allow you to compare between the different models to understand exactly the failure points and what action items you need to do and what needs to done in order to improve. So this is about the system, and I hope you will play with it and give us a feedback. Thank you very much.